Tiki, what's up?
There is no reason that the Giants should have been in position to win that game yesterday. Yet somehow they were in position to win that game yesterday. Thanks to Tommy DeVito's zone read. Didn't hand it off to Saquon Barkley. Instead, ran it in for a touchdown. But, Evan.
Yes?
They've been keeping next-gen stats for about a decade plus now. What was it first year? Like 2020, 15 or 16 or something like that. The Giants' pass success rate. What does that mean? Success rate in rushing and passing is you get 40% of the play yards to gain on first down. You get 60% of the yards to gain on second down. You get 100% on the yards to gain on third down. If you don't get that criteria, you have not had a successful run or a pass. Mm-hmm. In the history of the National Football League, at least if they've been recording this, and I suspect even when they weren't recording this would have still held true. The New York Giants yesterday had the lowest pass success rate in the history of the National Football League. And that just is what it is. It's a stat. It helped the Jets ultimately win the game because when they got into overtime, as Matt Ryan and Andrew Cataline and myself, A.J. Ross included, stated, the advantage clearly goes to the New York Jets because the Giants will not move the football, period. Now, why am I upset about this? Because they were in position to win. But how do you come into a game against your crosstown rival? Not that the game means that much rivalry-wise to the players, but it certainly does to the fans. But how do you come into a game like that with a quarterback who you don't trust to throw the football? Now, I saw Tommy DeVito in the preseason. He ran around a lot, didn't really complete too many passes. He handed the ball off, did some scrambling with his legs. He was okay. Somehow he made this team. But the fact that he is your now backup quarterback in a game that is must win, otherwise you just kind of toll your season, that he is the guy that you had to depend on was troubling, and it was disturbing. And it got to the point where the crowds in the stadium, the Giant fans in the stadium, I should say, were screaming, let him throw. I don't know if you heard that through the stadium.
Oh, we did.
Let him throw.
Yeah.
Let him throw. And even if you know he's going to throw in a bad incompletion, let him throw the ball. But so, I'm half upset with Joe Shane because that's who you chose as the third-string quarterback. Maybe it's a bargain basement because you don't have any cap money. I'm also frustrated with Brian Dable because even the worst quarterbacks, you remember that kid that had to play quarterback for the Denver Broncos? PJ, what was his name?
Kendall Hunter?
Kendall, whatever his last name was. He was a wide receiver. He had to play quarterback. His pass success rate was better than the Giants yesterday. And that was one of the ugliest games that you've ever seen in your life. I'm talking about that Denver game where a wide receiver played quarterback. That was one of the worst games you ever seen offensively as a quarterback. This one was worse. This is a professional football team, and you don't trust the guy under center to throw the football? I know the conditions were bad, but this was a game you're supposed to win, even though you had no business winning it because you put yourself in winning position. And that being your guy and the decisions, and we'll get into a lot of this stuff because I called it and I saw it all real time and I was frustrated as hell trying to be neutral. The fact that this game was lost this way is an indictment on everything that the Giants have started to build for the last year and a half. Period.
Yeah, I didn't understand because when Kendall Hinton, when Tommy DeVito comes into this game, I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this is a name that will live in history. This is going to be
he's the worst quarterback to beat you?
No, yes, because he's going to do something that's going to stick it to my football team. This is going to be the Victor Cruz moment of 2023. That was my fear.
Don't worry.
That was no. But what I later realized was that the head coach of the New York Giants, maybe rightfully so. I'm not even telling you he's wrong. Maybe rightfully so, because we're not watching Tommy DeVito. We don't know much about Tommy DeVito other than the fact he's a Jersey kid and he looked decent in the preseason. Mm-hmm. But they didn't allow him to be that hero I feared. They didn't allow him to make that one play, sure did with his legs, but with his arm that could have made the difference. And so you're right in that if you think Tommy DeVito sucks that much and is so incapable of playing the quarterback position, then why the hell is he your backup? You know full well that, especially against this Jet defense, Tyrod Taylor could get hurt.
Yes.
Tyrod Taylor, I love the man, and I feel horrible for the man. Tyrod Taylor has a history of getting hurt. This Jet defense, whether you want to respect it or not, can injure a quarterback.
Yes.
And so putting yourself in a position to where you got 80,000 people chanting him, let him throw, was, I agree with you, almost an indictment of then, why is he your backup?
It's almost like at least lose trying. I know they were, again, it's a soccer term, but whatever. They were in winning position, right? The Giants were in winning position for a lot of this game. But it felt like you were just waiting to lose. And I know Coach Dave came in with into this game with this is going to be a field position type contest. Like, the Jets don't move the ball very effectively. We can't, now that our quarterback is hurt. Our defenses are playing well. Let's just do field position. But the decisions weren't congruent. Right? If it's a field position game, then why in overtime are you accepting the ball? Why do you want the ball in overtime if it's a field position game? And you know that they know that you know that they know that they know you all that stuff, right? You're going to run the ball.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Let's fake it. We're going to drop back the throw. Guess what? We're just throwing it to Saquon out in the flat.
Right.
Right? I mean, it was like you put yourself in losing position by making bad decisions in the moment. That's what was most frustrating because, again, Giants didn't play well enough to win this game, but they were in position to win the game.
And they were in position to win this game, and I say this disgustedly because it annoyed me for 3 hours. They were positioned to win this game because the New York Jets played so freaking poorly, and they played dumbly. And that's the one thing I can't stand. Whether it's the personal foul on Quincy Williams that extended that first that touchdown drive that actually got topped off by Tommy DeVito, whether it's Jermaine Johnson committing a personal foul when it should have just been the Giants settling for a field goal, or it's the Michael Clemens neutral zone infraction on a punt that eats 5 minutes off of the clock. The New York Jets did everything to lose this game. The New York Giants did everything to lose this game. There are so many moments in this football game where if one thing is different, the result is different.
Yes.
So I want to make this very, very clear to everybody listening that I am not naive. I understand how the Jets won this game. I understand how lucky the Jets were to win this game. I know full well that a Kayvon Thibodeau offsides greatly contributed to the New York Jets winning.
Which I just showed to Evan it was actually not an offsides.
He's right.
We're not blaming the referees.
No. Not blaming the referees, but they may have missed that call. I know full well that Graham Gano missing not one but two kicks, especially one at the end of the game, is a direct reason for the Jets. I get it. I know full well that Zach Wilson sprinting like he's in the marathon and then the official barely touching the ball as it's being spotted.
By the center, by the way.
By the center, a third-string center, by the way, with 1 second to go, helps allow the Jets win. I know full well that an Adoree Jackson PI helps the Jets. I get all of it. I get the fact the Jets were in it. I know all. You don't have to tell me we witnessed. With all that said, I was taught a lesson about 3 years ago, and it's a valuable lesson we all need to know. In life and in sports, there are winners and there are losers. And on Sunday afternoon at MetLife, on Sunday afternoon at MetLife Stadium, there's one franchise that walked away with a win. There's one franchise that when they open up the newspaper on Monday morning, get to write, hey, we got to win. Because let me tell you something, and I mean this deep down in my soul, and we'll get to all the negatives. I promise you, we'll get to every negative from both teams, including the winner. But 6 months from now, 2 weeks from now, 5 days from now, they don't differentiate wins, just like they don't differentiate losses. So here's my consistency. When the New York Jets lost to the Kansas City Chiefs on a Sunday night with bad officiating contributing to it, I came on the radio and said, they lost. And I'm pissed. And they lost. And it doesn't count any different than the Dallas game. A loss is a loss. So to my fellow Jet fans and to the Giant fans out there, if I have to send you this message, yes, it was ugly. Yes, it was lucky. Yes, it was disgusting. And if you want a thank you note for how the Giants handed this to the New York Jets, I'll write it. I'll write that letter to Coach Brian Daboll and say, thank you. But at the end of the day, there's a win and there's a loss. And in the National Football League with only 17 games played, I will never, ever, ever apologize.
You shouldn't.
Or give back a win.
You shouldn't. But this game, the outcome of this game, I should say, because the game left nothing to be desired. It left a lot to be desired and nothing to be, mimicked because it was so bad on both sides of this game. But the outcome of this game puts the Jets in a position where for at least the next month, they're going to say, we have a chance. We have an opportunity if we can somehow fix offensively all the things that have gone wrong. And it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Zach didn't play great.
Yeah.
Got sacked a lot. Kayvon Thibodeau, respect, had an awesome day. And the offsides was not an offside, so don't blame him for that, by the way. The Jets lost 2 offensive linemen. They're playing their third-string center, who had never snapped, and on cue, as Matt Ryan is calling it, center snap exchange, what happens? Botched snap.
Yeah.
They are banged up in ways that they didn't expect. Defensively, they're still playing good. But at the end of the day, at 4-3, they have a shot.
Yeah.
But at 1-6 now, the New York Giants are basically dead.
2-6.
2-6. I forgot the Arizona game. At 2-6, they're basically dead.
Correct.
Correct. And by the way, you've lost your quarterback, your backup quarterback, in Tyrod Taylor. Don't know what the exact diagnosis is, but likely some rib injury. Who knows if it's broken or not? Daniel Jones should be coming back, but now do you trust him being healthy after not being cleared on Friday, but being cleared on
Tiki,
Saturday? I just don't understand.
We'll get into the Jones thing coming up, but I'll tell you this right now. As proven yesterday, a real backup needs to come. Because if they're not going to treat Tommy DeVito like an NFL quarterback, then don't make him an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, but my point is that result gave the Jets hope that their season means something. The result for the Giants puts them in position where now by Tuesday, which is tomorrow at whatever it is, 4 o'clock, we're going to be saying, who's still here? And in that locker room, you know that's a conversation.
No question.
Who is still going to be here when the dust settles on Tuesday afternoon? Everybody's off day. Who's coming back on Wednesday? That's where the Giants find themselves because they couldn't find a way, despite all improbabilities, to win a game that they were in position to win. And it's on everybody. It's on everybody.
Well, I'm going to ask you something. It is on everybody, and sometimes when you lose a game, when you win a game, it's not just one person. There are many people that you give credit to, many people you blame. As you sit here today, less than 24 hours after the most disgusting, exhilarating, just drunk football game we've ever witnessed, who do you blame?
I'm glad you asked that, Ev.
Who do you blame?
Because you can go through a series of 8 plays or so, I don't know the exact number, at the end of this game that determine this game.
Yes.
First, Kayvon Thibodeau won the Giants the game. Zach Wilson on 4th down, scrambling around, tight coverage. You give the secondary a ton of credit. Cordell Flott and even McKinney, those guys, they did a fantastic job of covering all day long. Kayvon Thibodeau gets a sack. Giants take over. 1st and 10. 1:26 seconds left in this game. It should be over. And then Saquon on 1st down. Now, I don't know if he's told to do this, but he gives himself up. I know Brian Dable said he was losing the ball. I'm not so sure he was losing the ball. He gives himself up on 1st down. If he goes and scores a touchdown, game is over. If he gets a 1st down, game is over. It is what it is. 2nd and 4. 1 yard, timeout. Last Jet timeout, 2 yards. Giants have a decision to make right now. Do you go for it on 4th and 1 and leave the Jets, if you don't make it, 70-something yards or whatever it is, it's less than that probably, 50 yards to go get in field goal range? Or do you kick the field goal and basically force Zach Wilson, who hasn't done it all day, to go score a touchdown? And I didn't mind this decision, to be honest with you. But guess what? Graham Gano, who is a shell of who he should be, misses an easy chip shot. And the Jets then go down the field, 2 completions, 1 offsides on Kayvon, which wasn't an offsides, which stopped the clock.
That's why it matters.
Right?
Stop the clock.
It stops the clock. They're not able to go, they're able to get up on the ball, call another big play. Dory Jackson, gives up an in route to Lazard. They get up on the ball. somehow get it in time, despite the center placing it and the referee not doing anything, including recognizing that Kayvon Thibodeau is 3 feet off sides. So it's like the refs were just completely detached from what the hell was going on at that moment of the game. And then they kick the game-winning field goal. And then in overtime, you win the toss. You know your offense is I can't even say the word.
Dog crap.
Exactly.
You got it.
know you're all, and you take the ball after your defense has been balling all day. It was a series of decisions and moments for the Giants, despite being in winning position, where they gave this game away. As bad as they played, as terrible or non-effective as Tommy DeVito was, as effective as Saquon was, they gave this game away in 8 plays. 8 plays.
So what's crazy about Jets-Giants and Mets-Yankees that's so different than Giants-Raiders and Jets-Patriots is that you're right, they gave the game away. And normally, if it's Giants-Raiders, period, stop. They gave the game away. Except the other half of the city, myself here, says, you're right. Except we then took it. And that's true, too.
Yeah, got to give Zach credit.
Both things can be true at the same time. You gave that game away and you laid it out beautifully. If any of those things goes differently, the Jets don't even have an opportunity to bring it back. But when the Jets get the football at their own 25-yard line with 24 seconds to go, Zach Wilson, and this is what's going to stun everybody who thinks I hate Zach Wilson. While Zach Wilson sucked in this game, for 99% of this game, Zach Wilson on those 2 plays showed massive apples or pumpkins, whatever you so choose. Because I want to be consistent about this with Zachariah. That Kansas City game, when everyone was waxing poetic about 5 drives, all I could think about was the fumble. That's all I could think about. Well, guess what? While everyone else is thinking about how awful Zach Wilson was, and he did suck, you know what I can't stop thinking about? 29 yards to Garrett Wilson. 21 yards to Alan Lazard. And you know what else? I want to throw this in there. The fact that Zach Wilson knew, I've got to get there. I don't have time. And I got to spike that football. Awareness. Because 3 weeks ago against Denver, he had no awareness. 3 weeks ago, he was clueless. So say what you want about my quarterback. Here's what I know about my quarterback. As crappy as I still think he is, as little faith as I have in him, you gave it away, and he took it. And that matters. Yes, it was given away. Yes, the Giants effed up. Yes, you should be pissed off as a Giant fan this morning and this afternoon. But as a Jet fan, do not apologize for being excited. Do not apologize for complimenting this quarterback for sucking 99% of the time. But when it mattered the most, with 24 seconds to go, he made the plays that set up Greg Zuerlein, including knowing with 1 tick left on the clock, snap the ball. Because I was a madman watching this game with my dad. I was screaming after the Lazard play. First, I was screaming, get down, schmuck. And I apologize for using that word. I don't believe that. But I'm in the moment. And I love Alan Lazard. But that's what I'm screaming. Get down. What are you doing? He gets down because I think he thinks he's going to score a touchdown. But he finally goes down, and I turn to my dad. I turn away from the TV. I said, I can't believe it's going to bleep and end this way. There's no time. There's no way there's time left. And my dad says, there's time. And I turn around, and I see the spike. So, yes, given away by the New York Giants, 1,000% accurate. But what's also accurate is it was taken by the New York Jets. You're right over there? You seem upset today.
No, I'm not upset. I'm almost resigned to the ineptitude of this team and the moments that matter. And it's discouraging because last year, it's what we talked about almost every one of the Giants' wins. They would put themselves in position to make the plays, the heads up above the X's and O plays to win a football game. And they've done the exact opposite for a lot of this season. Now, it's not all their fault. They've had tons of injuries, quarterback issues with sacks, and then now injuries with both of them. They're starters now. So, there are excuses. But for a team that's still trying to build the right culture, excuses mean nothing. I don't want to hear it. The excuse doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter who's on the field. That person needs to be in the position to make the right plays, and they just didn't.